Hello everybody and welcome to the Office 365 Labs series. As you may know, this is the last webcast in this series that we delivered across this September, and we covered a lot of topics here from scripting to Exchange Online to SharePoint Online. Of course, also we covered a lot of identity topics, and today we want to conclude this series by concentrating on Exchange Online compliance. And the reason why we chose this specific topic to deliver this webcast is because we receive as the advisory team a lot of questions regarding this type of features in Exchange Online. And maybe the reason why we receive a lot of questions regarding this feature is because, let's say, I would say that our naming convention for different features is not the best. For example, we have in-place hold, we have litigation hold, and nobody knows exactly what's the one, what's the other, what's the one doing, what is the other doing differently, and so on. And then we have also in-place archive, which also has a similar name with in-place hold. And again, there are a lot of questions: are these two features similar or something like that? And we will see that the answer is no. So that's why we chose to deliver this type of topic as the last webcast in this Office 365 Lab series. And as you may know, in all webcasts, I didn't deliver the content by my own, but I always had a colleague with me in order to help out and to discuss certain topics. And also today we are two here. It's me, Dan. I am a partner technical consultant with Microsoft. As you may know already, I focus a lot on our cloud services and help our customers to deploy and consume cloud services. And of course, I also help a lot in pre-sale stages with technical information if needed, and so on. And today I brought with me also my colleague Wana, but I would like to let her introduce herself.
Thank you very much, Dan. Hello, everyone. My name is Wana, and together with Dan, I will be your host today. A little bit about myself. I am with Microsoft for 3 years now, and I have been a support engineer, providing for our partners until September 1st support for the Office 365 product. So you will probably notice that I will share with you today insights from my experience so far, and I hope the information will help you troubleshoot more easily and efficient. And when you have a situation where you need to open a case for the support team, you can be excited to be one step ahead because you have already gathered the needed data for troubleshooting and analysis.
Okay, thank you very much, Wana. And before we jump into the session itself, here is also a brief look into our agenda for today. As I already told on the first part, we will concentrate today on, let's say, 3 or 4 topics. One is in-place hold versus litigation hold. We will see exactly what each of these features does and how we can configure it, and so on. Then we will look also into eDiscovery search, which is also, let's say, strictly related to the in-place hold feature, as we will see. And at the end, we will also look into what is in-place archive, because even if the name is familiar, in-place archive with in-place hold, you will see that basically these are two totally different things that don't have basically anything in common. Okay, so as we did always, we will deliver this webcast using only live demo, and since the introductory slides are over, let's say, I will jump straight forward to share my screen and to start looking into the subject that we exposed a few seconds earlier. So let me share my desktop right now. And Wana, please let me know when you can see my desktop.
Yes, sure. It is loading on my side, so I suppose in a few seconds we will be able to see your screen. And that's right, I'm able to see your Exchange Admin Center right now.
Okay, then I think everybody would be able to see this right now. Okay, this is, as you may know, the Exchange Admin Center. It's really also very familiar with the Exchange Admin Center of the Exchange Server 2013 and also 2016, I would say. And however, this is the Admin Center for Office 365. And this is basically the place where we will get started. And as you may know, here on the left side in this Exchange Online Admin Center, we have a topic which is compliance management. And this is basically what we will focus today, and especially we will focus on this part. So unfortunately, also due to the fact that we probably won't have enough time, we won't concentrate on the other features that we have here in the Compliance Center, but only on this in-place archive and hold, and of course also the correspondent litigation hold, which is not here in this admin center, and we'll look into it in a few seconds. So what we have here, and the first topic that I would like to discuss, is this in-place hold versus litigation hold, because this is a very important feature in almost all countries where companies use the Office 365 services, because there might be some times when there is a reasonable, let's say, a reasonable cause for litigation, and organizations may be asked, for example, to present to different authorities email communication, files, and so on for a certain user, or regarding a certain topic, or having a certain keyword, and so on. So when those cases arise, then as an Exchange admin, you know that it's time to use this feature, which is in place hold. But before you can use it, so let's say as a first step before any case for litigation arises, it is important for us as admins to plan exactly, let's say, the compliance features that our company would use, based, of course, on the requirements of the company itself. And in this case, we would have to first decide, okay, will we use in place hold when we have to, or will we use litigation hold? And here comes the difference between these two different concepts, because litigation hold is a feature that you can enable only for each mailbox, or of course you can do it via scripting and doing it for several mailboxes at one time. But however, this is a feature that you can enable only via shell, and only for, let's say, for one specific mailbox at one time. And this is very important. On the other part, in place hold, it's, let's say, the more granular way to put holds on different topics. And we will see that we can place on hold based on keywords that we want to search. We can place on hold based on the recipient or based on the sender, and so on. There are a lot of different options based on which we can place a certain hold, and we will see this right away. But first of all, let's first try to do and to see how we can put mailbox on litigation hold. Let's first get mailbox. Now, as you may know from the webcast where we discussed about scripting in Exchange Online, this is the basic command that we can run in order to see all the mailboxes that we have in an Exchange Online organization. But for example, I can also filter get a mailbox. For example, let's put a pipeline, and where or no, let's do not filter like this. Let's select, and let's select alias and litigation hold enabled. This should be right now fine. And this commandlet would basically show us each mailbox with alias, and if this litigation hold enabled is set to true. And we see that we have this mailbox where we have this set to true. No, this one, sorry. Okay, and we have this one, and we have this one here. Let's take a closer look into all the properties of this mailbox. And in this case, we will run get mailbox. Then I will specify the alias, and then a full list or format list. Basically, it will list all. It will list us all the properties of this specific mailbox. And when we look into these properties, very important for us is this property, which is litigation hold enabled. Let me search for it, because we have to find it first. Litigation hold enabled set to true. So basically, when we have a mailbox with this property set to true, what it means that really everything that is inside this this container will be put on hold. So all emails that this user might receive, even if he deletes it, if he deletes these emails, or if he changes these emails, or basically anything the user would do, we would still have the original item to be discovered by the admin, and let's say to be presented to authorities should this be needed. But once again, this applies to all these specific containers, so to the entire user mailbox. And you have to know that in this case, basically, we would have to see that the size of this specific container will grow, but I will look into this issue a little bit later in this presentation. Good. So as we know, in order to put a mailbox on litigation hold, we have to set this this property to true, and we can do this using the set mailbox commandlet, and we will do it, let's say, right now for this user 30. Let's say, and this would be then very, very easy. Let us scroll down. It's then set mailbox, okay, and then user 30, and then litigation hold enabled and $true, okay. And in this case, we will see that this specific user mailbox will be also set on litigation hold. It may take up to 1 hour until we will see this also when we run a get mailbox. Let's, for example, check right now if we would see this already set to true. Okay. However, it's important to notice that when you enable litigation hold, you should be aware that you may have to wait 1 hour until this change will be effective for this specific user. So in this case, this property is already set to true. But however, if, let's say, in order to be sure that everything will be kept in this mailbox in the original form, we will have to wait at least or around 1 hour in order to take effect. So this is very easy. This is how litigation holds works. So we can set it only using the shell, and we can set it only via a certain or only to a certain recipient. And then this would mean that really all items that that are or that will be ever in this container will be also kept in original form, and an admin would be then able to search for these items to export into a PST file, and then to present this to the authorities that might request this type of information. So this is how litigation hold works. Now, to see exactly how in place hold works, and to see in comparison to this litigation hold feature, let's first do this type of thing. One thing that you have to know: in order to place a certain hold, you have to perform an eDiscovery search. So, and we will do it right now. So this was simple here in compliance management, in place and eDiscovery and hold, and we clicked here the plus sign, and we here can, for example, start a new search. And let's try to define here some criteria. First of all, we have to specify a name. Since Azure AD is my favorite topic, I would, let's say, name as a name. I would have as name Azure AD, and description likewise. In this case, then I will click on next, and here we have a very important thing to know. If we click here the search all mailboxes button, then you have to know you cannot put this type of search on hold. So if you want to perform a hold, then you would have to always specify what type of recipients do you want to search for. And in this case, I will click the plus sign, and we will be able here, we will see all the mailboxes that are present here. And let's take, for example, this user here, and let's also, I think I also should have Wana here. Okay, let's also take Wana and put her here, and I don't know, let's also take another one, which is this one, and then we click OK. So in this case, you see that here in this selection we have these three different recipients where we will do the search. We have here also an option to search the public folders, so you can check this or uncheck this depending on the exact needs and what needs to be found. And then on next, here we have again several options. First of all, we can include all content, or we can filter based on a certain criteria. And let's say that I want in this search and in this specific hold to search only for emails that contain the keywords AAD and security. And in this case, we will need to write it this way: AAD and security. So here, if you want to add several keywords, then you have always to use these specific logical operators. And of course, if you use, for example, AAD and security, this will search for all contents in the specified recipients that contain both the word AAD and the word security. If I would use an OR here, then it will search all the emails that contain either the word AAD or the word security. So it's really how this type of logical operators worked both in programming languages and also in scripting. But it's very important to know when you want to set this type of keywords, you would have always to use this type of logical operators. Then we have to specify a start date. If we don't specify a start date, then basically all contents we will retrieve all contents that have these words, no matter when these contents were generated. So if I specify here, for example, let's say July 2016, this search will search only items that were generated starting with July 29th. And if I uncheck this start date, it will really search all items that match this criteria, so these keywords that we have defined at the previous step. And here we have also we can specify an end date, but it's better not to specify an end date if you want to place this specific search on hold based on this criteria, because in this case, if we specify an end date, then all emails and all content will be placed on hold until this end date. And all emails that, let's say, come to this specific recipients after this end date won't be on hold anymore. And in order to avoid this, it's better maybe not to specify an exact end date. Now we have also the option to do some further customizations here. For example, we can choose, let's say, only emails that were sent from, and we can also check here a certain email address, or one second, I don't see my mouse anymore. Okay, seems my mouse it's kind of not working.
I think maybe the battery died, or
No.
it's not moving at all.
Yeah, I know. Just 1 second. I hope.
Can you try maybe the pad from your laptop?
Yes, of course I will do this in this case, and although it's not what I would really like to do, but however, this is the only option in this case. Good. So I will close this. Okay, I can specify, for example, that only emails that contains these keywords and that has certain recipients on CC or on ToField or on and so on. So really, I can specify exactly and very granularly what type of content do I want to search and then to place on hold. And also we have an option to select what types of content from Exchange Online should be placed on hold. And in this case, I would simply run this all content. However, it would be also able to check this button here and then to for example, to if you want to track only email, then you can choose only email or email and meetings and so on. So basically, again, here you have a lot of options to do this based on what exactly do you want to achieve and what the exact requirements are. However, I would cancel this one right now, and let's click on next, because here on next this is a very, very important thing, because here we can, for example, check this radio button, which is place content matching this search query on hold. And in this case we can also specify how long this hold should be active, and we can specify here the number of days. For example, if I put here 10, it would mean that this hold will be active for only 10 days. However, in this case, I will check this to be indefinitely. And this is very important, because if I would, let's go back, if I would have checked here this search all mailboxes button, then this button here at the end, which places content on hold, would be grayed out. So it's very important, if you want to do only a simple search, then you can also select this search all mailboxes button. But if you want to also put a hold, then you have to specify exactly what type of recipients do you want to include in this search. So okay, and now we will click on finish. Now we will wait a little bit. Okay, seems that this has now completed successfully, and now we can click on close, and we can see here in the list, let's also do a refresh, that we also have this type of search here, and we can see also the previous search result, which is 35. So now you have done this, you have created a certain hold. Now the other part is, okay, you would need to present this hold, of course, to the authorities that required this type of information, or if you're if simply your company wants to keep track of this type of data, you need, however, to make this this information available within your company. So the first thing that you can do is preview your search results, which will open a new browser window. And you will see here the exact search results that we have. And for example, we see that all items, we can see that for this mailbox we have found, as you can see, only items that contain this AAD and security here. And you can see that in all the other recipients there is no such email or anything else that would contain this type of information. So these keywords, AAD and security. And okay, my mouse is working in the meantime. Thank you, Anna. Okay, good. So this is one first thing that you can do as an admin, and here you can also take a brief look at what type of results do you have. However, if you want to export all these results into a PST file, you have to simply click here, download to PST, and now you have to specify exactly a location where you want this to be downloaded. Let's put it in the Office 365 Labs folder, and then you can click Start here. And also, again, this process might take a few minutes until it completes. It would also ask you for credentials, and you have to provide some credentials for global admin. But since I already used this session, or let's say I already used this type of export in this specific browser session when I performed some tests before this webcast, so it didn't ask me for credentials anymore. But if you do this for the first time in a browser session, then you would receive also a credential prompt where you have to provide the credentials for a global administrator. And in this case, okay, completed successfully, and I normally should be now able to see this PST file here somewhere. Let's look for it. Where should this be? I don't see the PST file. Let's do a refresh here.
Maybe if you scroll down a little bit.
Yes, I scroll down, and the PST file is not here so far. Let's do it again, because it normally should appear here. Or maybe I just miss it because I have too many things here. Or
I don't see it.
Okay.
Okay, you have an Outlook data file. One second, if you go back, Azure ID, Dan Petrashku Baba, is it this one? A little bit lower. Here it is.
Okay. Yes, this should be the one. Okay, but I have to open this from within Outlook. I won't do this right now because it's really simple, just how you normally import a PST file. Okay, thank you very much, Juana, once again. And now we can simply close this this window. Now, one thing that I still wanted to show you is, okay, I performed this type of search and put this hold on these keywords today, which is September 29th. What happens, for example, if those users that I specified there receive email or send email that contain these two keywords, so AAD and security? It will happen that each time you go on preview results and or each time you export into an PST file, you would have all the items, also the ones that were received, for example, the day before. And to show you this, I would simply go, for example, on this hold that I put on the 15th of March. So that was the date when I created this specific hold. Let's briefly look into it, what it contains. So in this hold says, okay, these are the only mailboxes that I want to search for, and the search query I have here user 1. Here I haven't specified the start date and so on, but I put this on hold. And in this case, basically, I should have all the emails that this user received, also if the emails are newer. And for example, let's go here. No, I think this is not the one that I wanted to run. Just one more second. All mails, yes, this is the one that I prepared and it runs correctly. And let's look into this one. And again, source, I have specified only this user as a recipient. In search query, I didn't specify really anything, which basically means that I want to put anything on hold, and that's basically it. And I have created this type of hold on February 15th. And if I go on preview search results, I will see here that I also have emails from today. So this is really, really important. When you have created a certain hold, no matter when you did it, as long as that specific hold lasts, all the emails that will come to this recipient and will match the exact criteria that you defined in the hold, all these elements will be put on in place hold. So if you want to make here a short comparison between litigation hold and in place hold, you might want to use litigation hold, for example, for users that that is very important that you keep track of any communication. So, for example, very important users. Let's say you could place the mailbox of the CEO or of all the executives on in place hold. This would be a certain scenario. And for all the other compliance requirements, you can, let's say, create different and very granular holds. Because you can, for example, create a hold on all emails that contain the word contract. Or you can create a certain hold for all emails and items that, let's say, contain the keyword financial, and so on. So you could perform different type of holds. And very important, one mailbox could be placed at the same time on different holds. For example, I used my username, for example, that I have as a global admin, and I put a hold on that mailbox with Azure AD, so that one that we created today. I put that mailbox on hold also on February 15th, and I also created this hold which returns 0 results, because the keyword is probably not there in any of the emails. And all these holds, for example, are applied to this specific user mailbox. And we can see it. Let's get once again get mailbox alias and then pipe format list. And what we'll see here, just one second, because we have here also a property that lists all the holds that that are set to this specific mailbox. Before the cut, it should be some, it is here, in place holds. So we can see here, for example, that this mailbox is put on 1 hold, on 2 holds, on 3 holds, which is really correct, because, as I already told you, this mailbox is put on this hold, this one, and this one. So we have this mailbox that is put on 3 different holds. And in a very specific scenario, for example, let's say I am a user in the sales department, where, for example, I often send emails or receive emails that contains the word contract, the word financial, because I might also send out the financial offers and so on. So in this case, I would have several holds. And for example, if me as an admin, or if I want to try to, let's say, to script something or to automate any certain type of tasks based on a certain hold, for example, we can also run a commandlet to see exactly. So it's this hold that ends with BCE3. So let's say that I would like to find out exactly, because here on this commandlet I can see only the ID of the hold, but I don't know exactly as an admin what hold is this one. So in this case I could run this commandlet that I prepared here, and I will paste it in my PowerShell, which will run again a get mailbox search, and again I will do some filtering, and on the filtering I would specify that I would like to list all the objects that have the in place hold identity property set to this specific thing, and then at the end, of course, a pipe format list, so that I receive a full list of all the properties of this specific hold. And in this case, I see exactly that the name of this hold is test124. So this now I know exactly on which hold this user is placed with this specific hold ID. And the same thing I could run also for the other commandlets. Or no, sorry, for the other IDs that I have seen in this get mailbox, like this one or this one, and I would see also the exact same level of information for each hold at one time. And are there any questions there?
At this moment, Dan, I don't see any questions.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Good, thank you. And there is one last topic that I would like to cover, which is the quota, because it's very, very important. And this is the main reason why, for example, you would have to plan carefully how you want to run your holds, and not to simply put all recipients on litigation hold. Because let's run, for example, this type of commandlet, which will get the get mailbox, and I would want to see the exact quotas of the recoverable items. Why? Because from the architecture, when a user deletes an email, for example, that it is on hold, the email will disappear from the view of the user, and this would mean that that specific email will be transferred in the folder that is the recoverable items folder. And this recoverable items folder, by default, has a value of 30 gigabytes. And if you enable a hold for that specific recipient, then it will automatically grow to 100 gigabytes. But once we have reached this limit, we will have really, really big problems with the entire recipient, because he won't be able to receive any email, to send any email, to send calendar invites, and so on. So this is very, very important in order to make sure that we do not reach this certain type of limit, which again for mailboxes there are on hold is 100 gigabyte. It's very, very important that we plan carefully and very granularly, so in order that we do not arrive at this 100 GB. Or we can also do what we could also do as admins is, let's say we have this quota where we will receive a warning that we, for example, at this time export everything into a PST file, and save this somewhere, and then we put this specific recipient on a new hold, and then we can also make sure that the recoverable items are deleted. But again, it's very important when you plan this type of feature, not simply enable litigation hold on a certain recipient, because sooner or later it will reach this 100 GB. It might take 1 year, it might take 2 years, or 3 maybe, but at a certain point, if you do it like this, it will reach this limit, and then there will be a lot of problems. And just to show you also a comparison with a mailbox that it is not placed on hold. Let's see this one. I don't know if yes, okay. So this is a recipient that is not placed on hold, and you can see that for this type of recipient, the recoverable items quota is set to 30 gigabytes. And again, once I set this recipient on any type of hold, then it will grow automatically to 100 gigabyte. Okay, this would be everything that I have prepared today regarding this type of in-place hold, versus litigation hold and eDiscovery. Maybe to be clear, what is basically eDiscovery? It is a search. So any time you perform a new search, like we did also today, it's basically a new eDiscovery search. So this eDiscovery feature is basically the ability to search for content. So that's everything around eDiscovery. Now I would like to give the stage to Juana, and she will show you some things regarding the in-place archive.
Thank you very much, Dan. I will just share my screen with you guys. I will present my monitor. Okay, Dan, please. Yes, please let me know once you are able to see. You should see my Outlook and my inbox.
I think it's still loading right now.
Okay.
For me, but it should be. Yes, it's visible right now.
It's visible. Okay, and the first thing you see is an email sent to you.
Yes, correct.
Thank you very much. So furthermore, as Dan said, we will be discussing about in-place archive. So archiving in Exchange Online, also called in-place archive, provides you with additional mailbox storage space. Archive mailbox also provide an alternate storage location in which to store historical message data. So when a user's archive mailbox is enabled, the user can store messages in their archive mailbox like the one I have here. Now, you can access your archive mailbox by using either the Outlook client or the web app application as you have it here in the Office 365 portal. Using either of these client applications, you can view messages in your archive mailbox and move or copy messages between your primary mailbox and the archive mailbox, like I will do right now. So I have an email in my inbox and I can just copy, drag and drop it right here in my archive. It takes a few seconds. My Outlook is pretty slow at this point, and here is the email. It is in the archive mailbox. You can also recover deleted items from the recoverable deleted items folder in your archive mailbox by using the recoverable deleted items tool. It's very important to know that the in-place archive can only be used to archive mail for a single user or entity, such as shared mailbox or user mailbox, for which a license has been applied. Using an in-place archive as a means of storing mail from multiple users or entities is prohibited. For example, you as an IT administrator can't create a shared mailbox and have users copy it through the CC or BCC field or through a transport rule for the explicit purpose of archiving. Note that a shared mailbox that multiple people use does not actually store email for those individual users. Multiple users have access and they send email as the shared mailbox. Therefore, the only emails stored in the shared mailbox are those sent to or from it as the shared mailbox. To enable an archive mailbox, you can use the Exchange Admin Center or the Windows PowerShell. The primary reason to use the Windows PowerShell is that you can quickly enable the archive mailbox for all users in your organization. But first I will show you how to get to the Exchange Admin Center, and you can do this through your Office 365 portal by going on the Admin tab, which I already have open. On Admin Centers and Exchange, you will receive here the Exchange Admin Centers. Just select recipients and the mailbox that you want. You can see here that I have already some users with an in-place archive on them. But I will show you now how to enable the archive for one user and why not for all users at once through the Office 365 admin portal. This is possible. You can bulk enable archives by selecting multiple mailboxes at once. So you just press the Control tab or the Shift tab on your exactly like that, and just click every item that you want to enable. Now you go here on the right side and choose More Options. And the first thing that you will see is here the archive, and you have the possibility to enable it. So in my tenant, bulk enable archive, I selected 3 objects, that's true, and I hit OK. In my tenant, I have 2 subscriptions, the Enterprise E3 and the Office 365 Business Premium. It doesn't matter that my users are here that the users don't have the same subscription plan. I can choose what user I want, and I am able for all kinds of plans to enable the archive. I go on refresh right now, and you can see that my users with just a few clicks have the desired in-place archive. What I would like to explain to you is that whereas for the Enterprise E3 plan, the archive is 100 gigabyte, I will just open one of my test users through double click. You have here at mailbox usage, you can see that my mailbox is about 50 gigabyte. When I go to mailbox features, however, I can see that the archiving has 100 gigabyte. So the E3 plan has an archive of 100 gigabyte and my mailbox is 50 gigabyte, so I have a storage of 150 gigabyte. The Office 365 Business Premium plan has only 50 gigabyte of archive. I have here a pure Office 365 Business Premium tenant, so this is the only plan that I have on this tenant. And I will open now a user. I will open Dan, because I also have a user with your name, Dan. And
nice.
And you can see here my mailbox is about 50 gigabyte, but if I go on mailbox features, and I scroll down to see the archive, I can see that my archive is 50 gigabyte. The thing is that in this plan, the mailbox and the archive are shared. So I don't have 100 gigabyte of storage, I only have 50 gigabyte. If I enable the archive, this means that I have 25 for mailbox and 25 for archived, but they are shared. I can use them however I want. Okay, I will close this window now.
So this is really very, very important, because let's say we say always that in-place archive is fully in Exchange Online Plan 2, that is included also in the E3 subscription. But very often customer or they come to us and say, okay, but I am able to place or to create an archive also in if I have an Exchange Online Plan 1. And then we have to explain to them that yes, you can create an archive also if you have an Exchange Online Plan 1, but in that case, you will still have those 50 gigabytes of storage that now are shared between your primary mailbox and archive mailbox. While when we have Exchange Online Plan 2, if we enable an archive, we have an additional quota of 100 gigabytes only for that specific archive recipient. So in total we will have 100 gigabytes of storage in Exchange Online if we have Exchange Online Plan 2. So this is very, very important.
Yes, that is correct, Dan. And we can also ask for an extension of our archive if we have the Exchange Online Plan 2 that comes with the Enterprise E3 plan. We can ask for an extension for about 70 gigabyte. So I will close this window now, and I would proceed and try to enable the archive through PowerShell. So for today's demo, I decided to use the PowerShell ISE. And being one of the two hosts for the Windows PowerShell engine, this integrated scripting environment allows me to run commands in a console pane and test scripts in ways that are not available in the Windows PowerShell console. The ISE adds syntax coloring, tab completion, IntelliSense, visual debugging, and so on. And I can even open up multiple scripts windows at the same time. Now that I have my script here ready to establish the connection to my Exchange organization, I will first log in with my credentials. And afterwards, we will begin by enabling the archive for one user. Okay, so it's almost complete. Now we can see that I have established a connection to my Exchange Online organization, and I will begin by enabling the archive for one of my users. Enable mailbox. You can see here the autocomplete. Enable mailbox. Let's choose one of my users. Dash archive. I hit enter. And here you can see that the user that didn't have an in-place archive now has an archive of about around 40 gigabyte. Now let's take a look in the Exchange Admin Center, in the Office 365 Exchange Admin Center. I've hit refresh and I am searching for my user. Yes, the user has an archive now. But what happens if we choose to enable the archive for a user that we are not sure that has an archive already? Therefore, I will choose my own user because I know I already have an archive. And we can see here that we received an error message that the task does not support multiple archives per recipient. It's very important to know that it's not okay to have multiple archives, neither on-premise nor in cloud, nor in a scenario where we have a hybrid environment for a user to have an on-premise archive and an Exchange Online archive as well. Going forward, I will show you how to enable the archive for multiple users, I would say. Therefore, I prepared a command because I don't know it by heart. And I prepared it in the OneNote, in the Notepad, sorry. Now, what does this command do? We can see here that all recipients that are type user mailbox and that don't have an archive status none, will receive an Exchange Online archive or in place archive. I will hit now enter, and in a few seconds we should receive a list with all users that received the archive now, and that's happening right now. Okay. Now that we have seen that all these users have received the archive, let's check in the GUI, in the Exchange Admin Center. I will hit refresh, and now indeed all my users have received an archive. All the users, it's important to know that this commandlet applies only for the users that don't have an archive already. But what if I made a mistake and I want to reverse my action? In this case, we can just easily disable the archive. I will type in the commandlet disable-mailbox. It's the same one, but instead of enable, it's disable. I will choose the same user because I know it, archive. And I hit enter. Am I sure I want to perform this action? Yes, I am sure. And now that we are certain that the archive was disabled from the Windows PowerShell, we can check, and it's going pretty fast because I don't have a hybrid environment. It's only cloud, it's only Exchange Online. We can see that my user no longer has an archive. Also in the right side, in place archive disabled. It's very important to know that once the archive is disabled, you can re-enable it with the same data in it in 30 days. It's like you are deleting a user and it stays in purge for 30 days and you can restore it. It is the same thing. Now, let's take a look for a user with disabled archive. What properties does he have? Let's take a look. How does a user with disabled archive and one with enabled archive look like? Therefore, I will do a get mailbox dash identity. I will choose the same user because I know my user Dana does not have an archive. Pipefl so that we can see all the information, and archive. Now, really important at this point is the fact that we can see here the disabled archive. We have disabled archive GUID. This means that the user had in the past an archive, it existed, but now it is disabled. Let's take a look how these properties look like for a user that has an active archive. I will choose my user, and we can see the archive database. We can see an archive GUID. These properties are populated, whereas for a user with disabled archive, we can only see 00 or empty space. This is very important for us. Also, summarizing everything we have learned today about archives and in-place archives, it's very important to know that when archive mailboxes are enabled, your organization can take advantage of the default retention policy that is automatically assigned to every mailbox. Therefore, when an archive mailbox is enabled, the default retention policy automatically does the following. It moves the items that are 2 years older or more from a user's primary mailbox to the archive mailbox. It also moves primary mailbox items that are 14 days or older from the recoverable items folder to the recoverable items folder in their archive mailbox, because we have seen here in Outlook that it has recoverable items folder. To access the archive mailbox using Outlook, you would need one of the following licenses: Outlook in Office Pro Plus through the Enterprise plan and Office 365 Business Premium plan, but not with the Office 365 Business and Business Essentials plan, which don't have the Office Professional Plus. They have the Office Business. So that is everything I wanted to show you today about the archives. Dan?
Yes, okay, well, thank you very much. I just want to clarify again some things that you said right at the end of your presentation. So this is very, very important, since I had this with really a lot of customers. If you have, let's say, Office 365 Business as client applications, then the Outlook client from this suite is not able to display archive mailboxes. So, for example, if you have, let's say, I don't know, maybe you have an Office 365 business premium subscription, and you say, okay, I want to also buy Exchange Online Plan 2 in order to be able to use the archiving feature. Then you can enable the archive for each user, but when that user will use the Outlook client from this business suite, he won't be able to get his archive displayed in the Outlook client. So if you have customers that say, okay, we want to use Exchange Online in-place archives, it is very, very important to them. It's best to recommend an Office 365 E3 license, for example, because the E3 or the E3 subscription includes the Office Pro Plus suite, which can also open archive mailboxes, and has already the ability to enable archives for all users that you might have. And okay, I see here the question that what happens with the archive data when a user disables an archives. So first of all, the user itself is not able to disable the archive. Only you as an admin are able to enable the archive for a certain user or to disable it afterwards. What happens if you as an admin want to disable the archive? It's exactly what happens, for example, when the user is deleted and then also his primary mailbox is also deleted. It will happen that this archive mailbox will be in the so-called soft delete state for 30 days, in which time it can be recovered. So if you enable the archive after 5 days, let's say, then the user will get the exact same archive, the exact same archive that he had already, with all the emails that are contained in the specific archive. Also these 30 days, the archive is completely deleted and the data cannot be recovered anymore, and it will also not be visible in eDiscovery searches. So again, as an admin, it is very important to be very careful and to plan exactly what happens with the data once, for example, you decide for one user to disable the archive. You could perform, for example, an eDiscovery search right before you want to disable the archive, and do the search only in the archive mailbox, and then export all the emails into a PST file, as I have showed earlier today, and then you have those type of emails. Okay. No, because so the question was has data to be moved back to the normal mailbox? No, because when you perform an eDiscovery search, for example, it will also search the archive mailbox. So it won't search only the primary mailbox, but also the archive. So it's no need that, for instance, you have to move all the emails back to the primary recipient. This is also not recommended. For example, you might have an archive of 60 gigabytes of email, and you have a primary mailbox of 50 gigabytes, which is the really highest quota that you can reach. So you cannot simply move all the items from the archive in the primary mailbox. I hope I managed to answer also this question. And I see that that people are still writing here, so I think we will also, if you have other questions, we might do is we might try to answer them. Maybe we should end this webcast at 10 minutes, or no, I don't see any other question. Good. So if there aren't any other questions, I would like to simply wrap up this specific Office 365 Labs webcast and also the entire series. As you may see, these are all the webcasts that we have delivered within this series. I think that some of you were present in some other webcasts too, and hope we were able to transfer some know-how from our side and to give you some new insights on the different Office 365 services and features that we might have. However, even if this series for now has ended, we have built and we are still building, let's say, an Office 365 Labs community. So we still have the Office 365 Labs blog on TechNet, where we will have, I think, we will post every week a new article regarding different topics that we might encounter when we work with partners and customers and so on. So please, sure, you may check this this blog. We have also Twitter account, a Facebook page, and we have a YouTube channel where we will upload almost all the webcasts that we delivered in this series. Till now, we have already uploaded 4 of the 8 webcasts, and 7 other 3 webcasts will be uploaded shortly. Maybe maybe on Monday, on Tuesday, or something like that. So make sure you check also this channel. I can only tell you that even if we don't have any other such Office 365 Labs webcasts for October, it's still maybe we'll simply we will simply do some brief recordings of some topics, of some demos that might be interesting and so on, and we will also upload them to our YouTube channel. So even if it was not delivered as a webcast in this Office 365 Lab series, so make sure that you subscribe to this channel and stay up to date with everything that we upload also on our channel. And this being said, I would kindly want to thank you very, very much for being part of this webcast, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope we were able to give you some useful information about features in Exchange Online that help you meet your compliance requirements or the compliance requirements of your customers. And feel free to send us your feedback on all our channels that we have set up. So maybe on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube even, and so on, or on the blog, of course, as a comment. And we will try to do our best to keep this type of Office 365 Labs community alive, and try to offer you further some valuable information. But as you know, in order to keep a community alive, we need also your involvement. Once again, thank you very, very much. And since also the weekend is nearing, I would also like to wish you a very relaxing weekend, and hope you had fun and have a really, really nice day. Bye.